In this video, we're going to take a look at how to set up our preferences for our authoring application. Go up to the Edit menu and then select Preferences. In the Preferences dialog, simply go through all of the tabs and configure your settings. For example, in the General tab, we can choose the language to use for the interface for our authoring application from the list provided. By default, it will use our operating system language. We can also choose a documents directory where we want to go ahead and have our project files and our library assets automatically saved, but we can change it at any time. We can also choose a default text editing style. For example, right now it's set to edit in place. This means each time I go into text edit mode, or if I start inserting a message object, a note, a balloon, slide text frame, I can go ahead and have this option set in place, and it will immediately put me into text edit mode, blinking the cursor inside the message object. I can also opt instead to use a text editor, which is a legacy dialog, which when I go into text edit mode will actually launch a dialog window in which I work with text editing options. It doesn't matter which one you set up as your default. While you're editing your project, you can switch between styles. In the Table of Contents tab, you have some options to set up for default preferences if you do decide to create a table of contents for default slides, as well as auto-enable. In the Spelling tab, you can set up your spell checker options, including the dictionary that you want to use. Now, in the Proxy tab, there may be times when you run into firewall issues with licensing or getting program updates. If so, you can use this tab to set up a proxy server for which to get these to avoid firewall issues. In the Logging tab, you're going to have ViewletBuilder create a log every time you work in the program to help us debug any issues. This is of a non-sensitive nature, but it will actually create some log files that will allow us to analyze what's going on and quickly resolve your issues that you might encounter. So you can choose the Output tab. This is actually a tab view, and have it decide what you want to do here. You want to maybe display errors only in that tab, errors and information, or maybe all messages. And you can clear that output window at any time. You can also decide where you want to have a log file. You can actually disable it. We recommend you keep it enabled, and then you can redirect where the logs are stored if you want. The default path is usually fine. In the Backup tab, you can decide if you want to go ahead and have backup files saved automatically by enabling this option here. And then in the Start View tab, you can display your publishing history if you want. Let's go ahead and do that now. You can display your news, you can set your recent file counts, your history items per page. You can clear your publishing history at any time, and you can choose the publishing targets that you want to display in your publishing history. And then in the Advanced tab, you can actually set the virtual machine settings that you're going to use for your initial memory, then when the application is being used, as well as maximum memory. And you can change it in the Java Preferences window, as well as adding additional VM options if you're a more advanced user. And then once you have these settings configured, just simply go ahead and click OK. And you'll notice here it's loading the publishing history and actually loaded the news section for us because we didn't have them selected previously. And anytime you want to go back in and change the settings, simply go back into Edit, Preferences, and then for example in the Start View tab I can go ahead and take these, the publishing history. Maybe I don't want to have it displayed, maybe I don't want to display news. And at any point I can also reset preferences to default by clicking this button here. We're not going to do that now. We'll just click OK to show you what happens here, and we've cleaned up our Start View a little bit there by setting it in our Preferences dialog. That's it for this topic. If you have any questions on any of Qarbon's products and services, please visit us online at www.qarbon.com. Happy viewleting!